How you doing, everybody? Thanks for watching segment 3 of Smacktalk, where we're going to do our top 5. I'm Tony Gaglione.
Josh Mills, glad to be with you again.
Unfortunately, I got to deal with this friggin' Cowboy fan. Sean Adams is on holiday, by the way. Segment 3, we're going to do our top 5 NFL surprises up to right now, which is week 16 in the NFL. My number 5 is the Giants. Dude, what happened to the Giants? Eli Manning. Eli Manning is supposed to be the second coming of the Savior, and he's shown to be a whole lot of interception throwing machine.
And as a Cowboy fan, I'm loving every minute of it.
I'm sure you are. 5 interceptions last game, his highest of his entire career.
And here's the thing: people would say, Eli's having an off year, and of course he is. But here's the simple facts in the NFL: it's they won a couple Super Bowls and they beat the Patriots. Every quarterback loves a nice running game. What happened? No running game.
There is none.
It's great when you can get pressure with your front four.
There is
none. Okay, now what happens? Now
you dump it off to your tight end.
Now
who they traded to Chicago.
Now
there is none.
Now you're exposed, and you'll see with these teams that are coming good playoff time. No matter where they are in the NFL, strong defenses, strong run games. Unless you have a prolific offense, kind of like Denver. And the Giants, I'm sorry, they just the running games disappeared. And Eli Manning's getting exposed. Now when you have to throw and you have to be the savior, people seeing how hard how the other side is when you have to be the entire offense.
You are correct, because you saw this firsthand. When Peyton Manning got hurt and the Colts had to rely on a backup quarterback, it wasn't just Peyton Manning anymore, it was the backup quarterback. The Colts went 1 and something or 2 and something. It doesn't matter. But the year before, they were 13-3 with Peyton Manning. Without Peyton Manning, they were nothing. What does that show you?
You're talking about, you're taking a different echelon of quarterback. I think Brady's and the Mannings, they can kind of just get it done. But any other quarterback, maybe you throw Breeze in there too. But any other quarterback,
I'm not throwing him in there either.
You need that run game. You need a run game to set up your play action. I don't care how many times you throw the ball. You need at least the threat of a run game. And when that disappears and you can't get pressure with your front four, you're going to get exposed. And I'm sorry, if the Giants if their defense stays as bad as it is and they don't improve the running game, you're going to see a repeat of Eli Manning again.
And if you throw the ball 47 times, that's not the way to win a game. That is not the way to win a game. And who is the running backs right now? Peyton Hillis, Andre Brown, and I don't know. Who cares?
And they signed Andre Brown later. He came back later in the season because he was hurt before that. Actually, I think he was on the couch somewhere, and they called him up and say, "Hey, you want to come play football with us?" Obviously, of course, yeah. Let's come play some football.
Who's your number 5?
I got the Falcons. I mean, wow, what a turnaround! What a difference a year makes. They go in the off season. They pick up Steven Jackson, Las Vegas boy.
I thought that was going to be great.
I thought it was going to be pretty good. Unfortunately, you've seen the mileage on those legs now. I mean, he played in St. Louis for a long time. He's a bruising back. He's a Marion Barber with more speed.
The only problem is they used him in St. Louis too much.
Exactly, because that's all they had. They had no receivers. Yep. They had no quarterback. And it was, hey, we're going to turn around and hand the ball, kind of like Adrian Peterson.
I mean, if he was there 10 years ago, not 10 years ago, but maybe 5-6 years ago when they still had Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Kurt Warner, it might have been a different story because Steven Jackson would have been just a compliment to those guys. But when you're the entire offense as a running back, that's when those knees and those legs just give out very, very quickly.
Absolutely.
And you had Julio Jones getting injured. Roddy White got injured. Tony Gonzalez can't carry the offense. No. Tony Gonzalez is on his last leg. You know what I'm saying? Jacquizz Rodgers is not a number 1 running back.
No, he's a spill your main back, and he's a good third down option for the screenplays and things like that. Not a bad blocking back either. But yeah, I agree with you. And once again, another team that you're seeing that before then they had Turner and they had some people they could still run the ball. Now once again there's no run game. Now I'm relying on my passing game.
Once again,
and now that great quarterback.
Why do you get rid of Michael Turner? Is my question.
I don't like it. I thought he was a good back.
And nobody signed him either, so he just kind of sat out there this year. You know what I'm going to do in my fantasy league, because this is a dynasty league? It's going to be running for the next 4 years. I'm going to go sign him at the end of the year, because I know someone's going to pick him up next year.
Yeah.
I know it for a fact. And I'll release a safety or something because it's IDP league. So I'll get Michael Turner, and someone's going to pick him up, and he's going to tear it up next year.
Yeah.
Fresh legs, buddy. Fresh legs. My number 4, Josh McCown can throw.
Josh McCown can throw.
Josh McCown can throw, and he can make good decisions.
He is, and a journeyman quarterback, kind of guy that's just been sitting in the background, working hard, preparing every week. got his shot and flourished and really took off and showed a lot. Granted, the Cowboys' defense is horrible, but man, he made us look like a peewee team.
Hey man, it's not the only team he beat.
Oh no, I'm saying, and he played well. And honestly, I was really surprised, even though, Cutler is you're supposedly kind of your franchise guy. He's the one you're paying the money. So by NFL, the way they go with the NFL, they almost like they had to start him. But I think you got to play McCown there and give him another shot. You're playing the Browns.
No,
Cutler came
ridiculous.
out and he still won the game. But
yeah,
you got to let McCown play.
But did he prove himself as a starting quarterback?
Absolutely.
No.
Oh no, I'm talking about McCown.
I'm talking about Cutler. Did he prove himself as a starting quarterback on that Cleveland Browns game?
The way he came out in the second half and threw for 3 touchdowns and came back in that game, yes, he established himself as a leader of that team.
So you're just putting the first half into and just ring rust, basically.
Yeah, because ultimately it comes down to if you win in the game and your quarterback leading. It's what you do in crunch time, and if you win the game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'll take 38-31 as a victory. But you know what? If Josh McCown was in there, 2 interceptions don't go, 1 doesn't go for a pick six, and we win by 20 points.
And I think maybe you're right, which is my whole point to where I think he should have started in the first place.
Yeah, you go with the hot hand.
And the worst, it's kind of like the worst thing and the best thing. You guys won the game, great. Bad news, Cutler's going to start for the rest of the season.
I know, it's unfortunate. He's on his last... Here's the only thing I have to say. The last time a quarterback was on his last leg, as far as his contract went, he won a Super Bowl. His name's Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, that's the only thing I have to go for Jay Cutler. It's put up or shut up right now. Put up or... give you, a lot of money, and you're going to stick around for a while. If you basically sit there and say, I'm going to throw 3 interceptions next game, we're not going to make the playoffs, it's see you later, Jay.
Unfortunately, I think Jay's going to play well enough, and you're going to make the playoffs. And I want to say late in that game, he's going to get either injured late in the game where you still make the plaffs, and he's going or get injured early in the playoff game, and they're going to put McCown in a tough position.
Don't say that.
They're going to put him in a tough position, and I think McCown's going to come in like the second half of the playoff game, and it's going to hurt McCown.
Who's your number 4?
I got Cam Newton.
I like it.
Wow, what a turnaround this guy had.
I like it. He had a sophomore slump.
He had a sophomore slump, and he was kind of, and Ron Rivera, their jobs go hand in hand.
Ron Rivera. Let me interrupt you for 1 second. I'm sorry. Ron Rivera is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. He's a head coach, obviously now, but
I agree.
His defense in general, firsthand, took the Bears to the Super Bowl in 2005.
Yeah, that's why he got the job in Carolina.
That's why he got the job in Carolina.
Defensive stud.
But, I mean, he was passed over for so many jobs before that, which kills me because Rivera is just he's going to be a head coach in the league for a long time to come. A defensive head coach is hard to come by right now. Everybody wants their special offense like Sean Payton and things like that. Yeah. Lovie Smith, great defensive head coach.
Yeah.
10-6, he gets fired.
Because the problem with Lovie, it's not even that it's his fault. Great defensive coach, but just couldn't get to where they wanted to go.
I'm sorry, I jumped off of Cam.
Yeah, but anyway, what I want to say, Cam having a great year, and he started Ron Rivera. They kind of worked close together, and Cam even sat down and started looking at his previous game interviews and said, oh man, I was kind of putting off this image like I didn't care and it was all about me.
You're damn right he was.
Yeah, and he was, and he cleaned that up, and he became more of a leader. And because he did that, they started off 0-3, and now they're on a tear. What are they 10 straight now? Is that what it is? I think they started off 0-3.
They almost beat Seattle.
Yeah.
It was 12-9. You held Seattle to 12 points.
Yeah, it's they've got a great defense. I think that Cam Newton,
you can make noise in the playoffs like that,
has did a great job, and also realized that he doesn't have to do it, but he realizes how good his defense is, and that he doesn't always have to make that big play. Now he's much rather he'll go through his progression. He doesn't run right away. He'll go through his progression, and if he needs to run, he sees that man coverage, he takes off, he gets the first down, and he realizes he doesn't do it all by himself.
My number 3 was Cleveland Browns defense. Finally, there's a defense in Cleveland. The only problem with the Cleveland Browns is they do not have a quarterback. They had a quarterback. His name was Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, and I liked him. I liked him
a lot, too.
He got hurt, right away.
He got hurt. Now they had to start Jason Campbell. Now they had to start Brandon Whedon. And these guys, they ain't going to cut it.
No.
They ain't going to cut the mustard for you.
No.
It ain't going to happen. So, dealing with these guys and having your defense, and you're still around a 500 team, you got to give this team credit.
Oh, definitely.
You have to give this team credit. I'm not saying they're a playoff team or anything like that, but with Brian Hoyer, they would be in the playoffs.
I think so,
without
too.
a doubt.
He's a good quarterback, and I was really sad when he got injured, even though I don't care anything about the Browns. He learned behind Brady, great teacher. And the Browns' defense, though, even last year, was a good defense. It started last year, and they've kind of just kept it going. And it's unfortunate to have a quarterback, but as sad as it is, Jason Campbell isn't the answer, but short term, he's got the game enough to where he'll control the ball, he won't make the mistakes, and he can kind of get him through the season if he were able to come back or he stays healthy. But ultimately, yeah, if Hoyer comes back healthy, I think give him a chance. But it's Cleveland. I mean, they've taken shots on quarterbacks so much
and you're
now,
running the worst
and bad
rushing
shots,
offense
like
in
Brady
the
Quinn
league.
and Whedon. Even though Whedon was the best quarterback available at the time, but you got people coming out now. I don't know where this is going to fall in the draft, but dare I say Johnny Football goes there? Maybe revives that town.
Something. Who's your number 3?
Number 3, I got RG3, Redskins, the Shanahan debacle. What has become this team? Once again, loving it. NFC East, love to see the dysfunction since they're in my division.
Yeah.
But how it's been handled, confused. Kind of always respected Mike Shanahan. Thought he should have been out a long time ago in Washington. He's had a losing record. The only reason they ever did anything, and the reason why he stayed around, is because they got hot and won the division last year. That's why he stayed around. RG3, I think a little bit of unfair blame on him. Everybody, people said Super Bowl or bust, for Redskins before the season. I thought that was just crazy. I knew something bad was going to happen as soon as they said that. It's just the knee injury he's got. He needs more time. I think ultimately he does come back, but Kirk Cousins got a great shot now. And honestly, I think what Shanahan's doing, it might even buy him another year there. As weird as it sounds,
Ooh, I don't think so.
I think he's gone, but I think Snyder's just weird enough and unpredictable enough. Not quite as crazy as Jerry Jones, but he's up there. I think that Kirk Cousins, either what's going to happen is I think Shanahan probably he does go, but might stay because what he might be doing is building up that Kirk Cousins and try to recoup some of those picks that they gave away. Kirk Cousins comes in and plays strong. They might get a couple second-round picks and build up that offense back, and it might buy Shanahan some time even.
All right, I'm going to take my number 2 and move it up to number 1. Just kind of move along in the same motion that you're going. RG3 sucks. That's my number 2.
I disagree, but I want to hear it.
RG3 sucks, man. I mean, you were working with the same offensive line as you did last year.
Mm-hmm.
No injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Same offensive line. The only difference is that people have seen film on you now.
Oh, yeah.
People have seen film on the running quarterback, like Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, zone reads kind of fading out.
Yeah. You get yourself a little quarterback spy out there in the linebacker position. Guess what? RG3 has nowhere to go.
Yeah, and it is hurt. But even with that spy, the thing is, in Colin Kaepernick and RG3 can both run by that spy if you only have a single spy.
The problem is
that
they're
knee
blitzing
injury
corners now.
But I'm telling you, watch.
But they're blitzing corners.
I think I got to give him 1 more year before I formulate my opinion. I'm sorry that injury is normally 1.5 to 2 years. Adrian Peterson is a freak of nature. He came back from it. But the fact is, 40% of guys do not come back from that same tear that he has, and he's a running quarterback. And if you've seen some of those games they've lost, yeah, he's thrown some picks, but he's had a couple high 300-yard games where he's just sit back and had to chuck it. And they're built as a running offense in the beginning, but the problem is their defense is so suspect under Haslett again that they're getting behind and they're not able to run the ball with Alfred Morris as much. Now they're forced to drop back, and it's changed the whole identity of the team. They went from a whole running offense to a passing offense, and it's just made it difficult.
Roll your number 2.
2, I've got the Chiefs. You want to talk about a team that did nothing last year? I knew getting Andy Reid was going to be good.
No,
I don't think
a good thing,
anybody thought they were going to start off as hot as they did and still be as good as they are. And honestly, it's really unfair that they're probably going to get a 5th seed.
What's really unfair is that they're 9-3 because in a different aspect, in my opinion, because they haven't played anybody, bro. They played San Diego, who beat them, and they played Denver, who beat them twice. Everybody else has been nobodies. They haven't beaten anybody good. I don't think they've beaten anybody with a over 500 record right now, to tell you the truth.
I'd have to look back, and obviously the Cowboys are 7-7, so yeah, that's 500. But with 9 wins in the NFL, I can't say that you beat nobody. We'd have to go back there and take a look through the schedule.
I can look back at the late '90s Chicago Bears with Jim Miller at quarterback, and we were 13-3. But guess who we played? A whole lot of nobody.
How about the Dolphins' undefeated Super Bowl year? I don't think they beat a single team over 500.
Really? I didn't
Yep.
know that. So there you go. You're
Yeah.
proving my point. Is
Yeah,
what
the
what I'm
Dolphins,
saying
the
there.
Dolphins undefeated team, but it's still the NFL. And I see what you're saying, the whole winning record. But the matter of the fact is, it's hard to win.
Get 'em against a team that.
Think about how Jacksonville started off. Now Jacksonville's beating teams. You know,
Well, yeah,
the
yeah.
NFL, it's still a pride thing. It's still a team sport, and you don't like to lose to
Any
anybody.
given Sunday, anybody
Yeah.
can win. I understand that. But when you come with an undefeated record, and you play Denver and they smoke you, then you play San Diego and they beat you, then you play Denver again, they smoke you again.
Yeah, but to the credit of San Diego's one of those teams.
Yeah, you
Kinda like the Dallas,
you
they
beat
could
Oakland
hit her.
56 to 30
Yeah,
something.
they
Big
could they could beat any. And Phillip Rivers beat them a last second touchdown pass, and it was a good game. But I mean, that's
Okay,
kind of
here's the thing for me.
toss-up.
You have the defense to win a championship in
absolutely.
Kansas City. You do not have the quarterback to win the championship. Alex Smith is a game manager. Game manager. He is Trent Dilfer. And I'm sorry, but the Chiefs' defense is not as good as the Ravens' defense when they won the Super Bowl. So,
But probably good enough to get you at least to a Super Bowl. Because I remember a certain Bears team.
oh, sure.
That
That
went-
team
that
was
went
good
and played
enough
the
to win a
Colts.
Super Bowl. But
Team was good enough to make it to a Super Bowl.
make it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But
quarterback.
ultimately, that's what we're talking about.
No
that's why,
game manager.
That's why it's a surprise. The Chiefs talk about, you know,
But
they
you're
were-
not
they
going to
went-
tell
they
me
went from
that
the league
this
as one of the
Chiefs
worst
defense
records.
right now
It's the biggest turnaround ever.
is better than that Bears defense in 2005. There's no way. Not with Urlacher, Tillman. There's
the only
no
reason,
way.
The only
bro.
reason I say no is because of the turnover aspect. You guys have the ability to take away the ball and score with it.
Okay.
Otherwise, but as far as
Not to
containing it
mention
and
the
the
best-
points,
The best returner
oh yeah,
in the
absolutely.
entire league.
absolutely.
In the entire history of the
but
league.
as far as the parts are there. They just don't have
Yeah, they're
the
there.
have the ability to take it to the house. But so let's go to your new
All
number
right,
one.
my number one, my new number one is Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey turned out to be the biggest, hugest thing in wide receiver in the NFL this year.
Yeah, stud.
Calvin Johnson, he's a stud. Des Bryant, he's a stud. But guess what? Alshon Jeffrey is SportsCenter top 10, number one, every week now for some reason. You know why? Because he's big, he's got big hands, he makes catches that nobody else can make. Not Calvin Johnson, not Des Bryant, not Roddy White. I'm sorry, he's making those catches and he's making people look stupid doing it.
He is making people look stupid, and love to have him on the Cowboys. If you know, call up Jerry. Maybe we can get that situated, get him over to Chicago. But great receiver, big body, and I love too because he catches with his hands. Still, the great receivers. You threw Dez in there, but he's not winning. But Calvin, and who I'd like to put him up there with, to me, who still has the best hands, and Al Jeffrey might be in the top 3 now, is Larry Fitzgerald. Because he catches the ball with his hands away from his body and have those big, strong hands.
He goes up and gets it before anybody else can try.
And what's tough about Jeffrey is because you've got Marshall and you've got Jeffrey, so you've got 6'6" and you've got 6'4", and I'm sorry,
Gotta cover somebody.
unless you got Sherman, who's 6'3", Richard Sherman from Seattle.
Yep.
I mean, how are you going to guard these guys?
You have to cover somebody.
If you got 2 guys on me, and there's 2 guys, I'm 5'11",
Yeah.
maybe average cornerback height in the NFL. I got Alshon Jeffrey. There's 2 guys. I'm throwing the ball up, and he's going to go take it from you.
That's right, and he showed that 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and in the last Cutler pass, I want to say, I don't know if it, the last touchdown pass he threw last week, I don't know if it was to Marshall or Jeffrey. I think it might have been to Jeffrey.
In between 2.
Yeah, there was 2 guys. You threw that. It was double coverage, right?
Yeah,
That's a classic
the week
color.
Before, the week
I'm gonna
before
throw it
was
up.
against Dallas in
The
the
Dante
corner of the end
Culpepper.
zone. The week before that, it was like he roll it over somebody's back of the head.
Yeah, it's like back in Dante
it's
Culpepper
ridiculous.
throwing it up to Moss, like,
To Moss,
oh yeah,
yeah.
there's 3 guys on him. Yeah, well he's
That's
gonna
all right.
jump him.
Throw it up.
I'll take it.
No big deal. That's why that's my number one. Alshon Jeffrey was the number 3 receiver last year for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Now he turns out to be the number 1 receiver, not only on the Chicago Bears, but maybe in the NFL, as of right now.
I got to put him up there. Definitely, he's a solid player. I like the way he plays.
Let me hear your number 1.
I got the Mannings, not just a Manning, but the Mannings. I think they go hand in hand at the number 1 spot. Peyton, you talk about at his advanced age here. This guy's looking to break the touchdown record, the yards record. People want to say, oh, he's got some good pieces and good offense. No, it's because Peyton Manning's there. People like Decker and them, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Peyton Manning is making that team. And I'm impressed. I mean, I've always had respect from the guy, but I mean, for what he's doing at this age and at this point in his life is crazy. And on the flip end, Eli, wow, I know we kind of touched on it before, and you were talking about the Giants.
Wow.
But leads the league in interceptions, and Mr. 2-time Super Bowl winner is I don't even. Who do you compare him to?
Nobody,
Vinny
no.
Testaverde at the end of his
There you
career?
go.
When he played for the Cowboys? I mean,
Oh man.
I mean, these
That's bad.
these
Phil
these
Simms,
these
Mark Rippon.
these interceptions are.
No, it's horrid.
It's bad.
Horrid.
It's
horrid.
just a turnover machine waiting to happen. And you look at Coughlin's face sometimes. He just looks. He's already got that dumb face. Like,
All right, real quick before we go, last question: Coughlin, coach of the Giants next year or not?
has to be. I think. Bottom line is, yeah, he does have you 2 Super Bowls.
One for you.
This is an off year for him, and yeah, he's got to come back. And the only one coach I think for sure in the NFC that's got to go is Shanahan. And as strange as it is, I think he can hold him to his job.
Hey, I'm Tony Gaglione. Thanks for watching Smacktalk segment 3, our top 5.
Josh Mills, thanks for having you.
Oh.
I'll start right at the theater.
Reality.